As we all know, the Ice and Fire mod adds many new mobs into Minecraft, with some being friendly and non-harmful, while others just being outright deadly. So with that, let's take a look at a list of mobs which in my opinion are the strongest in the Ice and Fire mod. We will rank them from 1 to 10, and in the end we shall see what the strongest mob is. This mod introduces 4 types of mobs into the game: passive, neutral, hostile mobs, and mini-bosses. And for obvious reasons, I'm not going to mention any passive mobs on this list as they don't really do anything and they're not really considered strong. But starting off at number 10 are the Stymphalian birds. And these birds are aggressive metallic creatures that attack you in swarms. Their feathers are sharp and can be used as projectiles, making them a dangerous foe at range. While a single Stymphalian bird isn't too strong, they do become overwhelming when attacking in large numbers. Stymphalian birds actually have a rare drop called the Stymphalian feather, which then can be used to craft the Stymphalian darts. And these darts are actually powerful projectiles that can pierce through armor and can be fired from a special blowgun, giving you an edge in ranged combat. Fighting these guys requires good armor and ranged weapons, as their swarming behavior can quickly become overwhelming. In my opinion, these guys' strength is a 6 out of 10, however fighting them can be difficult. I'll give them a medium difficulty in base of fighting, and that is due to them attacking you in larger groups. Moving on to number 9, we have the trolls, and no, I'm not speaking about Shrek. Trolls are large, brutish creatures that come in several different variants, including forest trolls, frost trolls, and mountain trolls. These mobs are powerful with high health and strong melee attacks. What makes trolls unique is their ability to actually regenerate health when exposed to darkness, making them a difficult opponent to take down without proper light sources. Trolls do drop unique troll tusks when defeated, and these tusks can actually be used to craft a troll's axe, a powerful weapon with high durability and the ability to deal massive damage, especially against other mobs from the Ice and Fire mod. Trolls aren't actually as dangerous as dragons or gorgons, but they're still formidable opponents, especially in tight spaces. In terms of strength, I would give these guys a 6.5 out of 10, and in terms of fighting, I would give them medium difficulty. Moving on from trolls, on number 8 we have the amphitheres. Amphitheres are large, winged, serpent-like creatures that inhabit the jungle biomes. These creatures are aggressive and will attack players on sight, using their powerful claws and bites. Amphitheres are fast and do have the ability to fly, making them difficult to hit with melee attacks. Their agility in the air and their high speed swooping attacks makes them a pretty dangerous opponent. However, hear me out though, amphitheres can be tamed if you manage to bring one down to low health without killing it. You can feed it raw meat to tame it. Once tamed, the amphitheres becomes a loyal flying mount, offering both speed and aerial combat capabilities, allowing you to explore the world from the skies pretty quickly. I would say in terms of strength, these guys would get a 7 out of 10, but in terms of fight and difficulty, I would pursue them as medium to high, as they do have the ability to fly, making them a lot harder to actually take down. But coming in right after the amphitheatre, in number 7, we have the Cyclops. Now, the Cyclopses are giant, one-eyed creatures that can be found in their lairs or wandering around the map. These hulking monsters have immense strength and can grab players, crushing them in their hands. Pretty gory, as I would say. They deal massive melee damage and have a large health pool, making them a tough fight for any adventurer. Cyclopses do have a blind spot in their vision, and if you approach a Cyclops while sneaking from behind, you can avoid detection, allowing you to get close enough to deal significant damage before they even notice you. You can either do this with sheep armor as well, which you can pretty easily craft, or if you want to be more adventurous, you can shoot their big eye and make them go blind with a bow. Cyclopses are slower than other mobs though, which gives players an opportunity to dodge their attacks, but if they do catch you, you're basically in a world of hurt because they do a lot of damage, so that's why I would put them above the amphitheatre. In terms of strength, I would give them a 7.5 out of 10 as well, and in terms of fight and difficulty, I would still say medium to high, as if you do get caught, you're pretty much dead, but they are pretty easy to avoid. Coming in next, we have the Deathworms in number 6. Deathworms are massive creatures that burrow underground and launch surprise surprise attacks. They come in various sizes, with the largest being capable of actually swallowing a player whole. Deathworms have a strong bite attack and can strike quickly, making them hard to predict and avoid. Deathworms have a weakness to fire-based attacks, however. Using fire weapons or lava can actually cause them to take additional damage, making them much easier to kill. This is particularly useful for larger deathworms, which can otherwise be a nightmare to deal with in the desert, since they bury themselves underground as well. Their speed and burrowing ability makes them tough opponents, especially when you're unprepared and you don't know what to expect when traveling through the desert biomes. In terms of strength, I would still give them a 7.5 out of 10, but in terms of fighting difficulty, I would give them high, as they're pretty tough to encounter, especially early game. In 5th place, we have the Myrmex Queen, and now the Myrmex Queen is the ruler of the Myrmex colonies, a race of insect-like creatures found deep within their hives, both in the jungle or the desert biomes. The Queen is protected by an army of worker and soldier Myrmexes. The Queen herself is powerful, with a ranged acid spit attack that deals significant damage and can dissolve armor over time. If you give resin to the Myrmex, they won't be hostile towards you. In fact, you can even become a trusted friend of the Myrmex colony by trading with them. This allows you to access their unique resources without having to battle their swarms and making them friendly. The real challenge, however, in facing the Myrmex Queen is actually dealing with the sheer number of Myrmex that will swarm you during the battle as they go to protect the Queen. So in terms of strength rating, I would give her a 7.5 out of 10, and in terms of fight and difficulty, I would say high, and this is because of her minions. Coming in at number 4, we of course have the Sea Serpents, and in my opinion, this is one of the hardest mobs to encounter, especially early game. Sea Serpents are massive aquatic creatures that patrol the oceans, attacking anything that comes near. They can jump out of the water to attack ships and players on land, dealing massive damage with their bites. Sea Serpents are fast, making them difficult to escape from, and their powerful attacks make them a serious threat. Sea Serpents drop special skills when defeated, which can be used to craft one of the best armor sets in the game, Sea Serpent Scale Armor. This armor is not only highly protective, but also grants the player increased swim speed, making it ideal for underwater exploration. Fighting a Sea Serpent is particularly dangerous due to the unpredictable nature of water combat, and they can become quite big, so be careful when exploring the oceans, especially early game. In terms of strength rating, I would give them an 8 out of 10, as they are a pretty solid opponent, and in terms of fighting difficulty, I would consider them as high. Now of course, coming in at number 3, we have the Gorgons. And the Gorgons are terrifying snake-like creatures that reside in their lairs. The most dangerous aspect of a Gorgon is her ability to turn anything into stone with her deadly gaze. When facing a Gorgon, players need to be careful not to look directly at her face, or they risk being petrified and killed instantly. The Gorgon's petrification ability can be used to your advantage, however. If you defeat her without looking at her face, or using a blindfold, you can collect her head as a weapon. The Gorgon head is a powerful item that can turn any mob you like into stone with a single use, including dangerous enemies like dragons. The Gorgon isn't the strongest in terms of raw damage, but I think her petrification ability makes her one of the most dangerous mobs in the game, but I wouldn't put her up any higher on the list as it's really easy to avoid. So in terms of strength, I would give her an 8 out of 10, and in terms of fight and difficulty, I would give her high, and that is due to petrification. Now of course, coming in at number 2, we have the Hydra, and the Hydra is a multi-headed serpent-like creature found in swampy biomes. This creature can regenerate its health and regrow its heads when they are chopped off. Each head can shoot fireballs, making the Hydra a deadly ranged opponent. The more damage you deal, the more heads it grows, increasing the challenge as the fight progresses. The Hydra, however, can be tricked into damaging itself. By luring it near lava or other environmental hazards, you can cause the Hydra to lose health more quickly, but make sure to fight it with fire, as if you don't, it'll just regrow its heads and it'll become a really tough opponent to take down. This tactic can be especially useful when you're overwhelmed by the growing numbers of heads during the fight. Hydra battles are endurance tests, as they require you to manage multiple heads while avoiding fireballs, so it is definitely one of the harder mini-bosses in the game. So in terms of strength rating, I would definitely give it a 8.5 out of 10, and in terms of fight difficulty, I would say it's pretty tough, and you should probably do way later into the game. And of course, coming in at number 1, I think everyone expected this, we have the dragons. And dragons are the iconic beasts of the Ice and Fire mod with 3 variants: Fire, Ice, and Lightning. These dragons can spawn naturally in the wild, terrorizing villages and players. You can actually tame and ride a dragon if you manage to find and hatch a dragon egg, raising your dragon from a hatchling, which will eventually allow you to ride it and use its breath's attack, turning one of the most fearsome enemies into a powerful ally. Each dragon type has its own unique abilities, however. Fire dragons breathe fire, settling everything in their path ablaze. Ice dragons unleash freezing breath, encasing their enemies in ice, and lightning dragons call down bolts of lightning, electrifying the battlefield. And in my opinion, the lightning dragons are probably the hardest dragon to defeat. They have massive health pools, can fly, and their attacks deal significant damage. Fighting a dragon head on is a challenge, even for the most prepared players. So in terms of strength, I would give dragons a 9 out of 10, and in fight difficulty, I would say extremely high, as you need to be very well prepared to fight them. So in terms of bosses, dragons are the strongest mob that you can encounter in this mod, and more specifically the lightning dragons. When taking a look at normal mobs, however, in my opinion, the strongest normal mob is the sea serpent, as they are detrimental to the players, especially early game, and still stand a challenge fighting them head on in later game. But we could say for sure that the Ice and Fire mod brings a variety of challenging mobs to Minecraft, making it a much more fun experience, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. While some, like the Dragon or Hydra, pose significant threats due to their immense power and size, others, like the Gorgon and Mermax Queen, require players to think tactically to avoid their deadly abilities. Whether you're fighting on land, sea, or in the skies, you'll need to be well prepared to survive these encounters. Remember though guys, this is my own opinion on the strongest mobs in the game. You might agree, you might disagree, but make sure to leave a comment on what you might think is the strongest mob in this game. But definitely make sure, if you enjoyed the video, to give it a like and subscribe, as it helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing rest of your day. Take care guys, and peace.